Salutations and Happy New Year. It's a great privilege to lose my Polari virginity at the very first event, award-winning at that, of 2014. So now that I'm deflowered, I thought I would start off in the gutter and work my way up from there. This is a poem called Sex Toy. Tattooed and tongue-tied, bee bonnet blue. Kiss my fists, bind my wrists, girls can play rough too. Slap, lick, trickle, your tongue down my throat. Twist my nipples, bite my neck as I slide into your boat. Scratch hard at my back, you're drawing blood. I want to wrestle in the mud. My juices are flowing, throbbing, flowing, throbbing in my growing. Writhing bodies bathed in sweat. I pull your hair, you are my pet. Your dainty roped, wrists are sore. Screaming you can't take anymore. I remove the blindfold so you can see. Now it's your turn. You do me. Now I'd like to read to you an excerpt from my novel in progress. Its working title is Palace of the Butterfly Bird. It's a rock and roll fantasy, time-traveling lesbian love story with gay men, a bisexual, some token heterosexuals, a queen, a high priestess, a unicorn, and a genderqueer cat. So, to get a fair feel for all the different aspects of the book, I'm going to read from a chapter called Dreamcatcher. Just to give you an idea of what's going on, the main character, Rainbow Sparks, a 44-year-old photographer, has come off her bike on the way to work. She's been taken to hospital, pumped full of morphine, then sent home with her straight crush, a drummer-cum-band manager named Nikki, who has volunteered to look after Rainbow at home while she's recuperating from her accident. Which brings us to where we are now. Oh my fucking God. Rainbow? I opened my eyes to see Nikki lying in bed beside me, clutching the purple duvet tight under her chin like a frightened child. Her eyes were pinned and staring into nowhere. Tell me you didn't. I rubbed the sand from the corner of my eye with my thumb and blinked hard to focus. I did. Nikki frowned. I thought it would help me sleep. I didn't think one would hurt. You had two of them. For the pain, Nick, for the pain. Just tell me how to make these silverfish go away. Nikki swiped at the air in front of her eyes. There was nothing there. What face? Splash some cold water over your face. What face? Nikki shivered. You know what? Next time you want to sleep, have a chamomile instead. Camel what? She croaked. Jesus, Nick, just promise me you'll keep your hands off my meds. Make it stop. Nikki looked up at me so helplessly, it made my heart hurt. What am I going to do with you? I couldn't help myself. I wanted to tell her off for being so bloody stupid, but I just couldn't. Nikki moaned and pulled the duvet up over her head. I choked back another painkiller, then hobbled into the bathroom and locked the door. I turned on the heavy taps on the deep, freestanding Victorian bath and poured a cupful of scented bubble bath under the torrent. The mirrors clouded with condensation. With my cask resting on the bath tray, I gently eased the rest of my battered body down into the hot, soapy water. Lavender-scented bubbles rose up around my ears and popped against my neck. Droplets of warm water dripped at a grave tempo onto my protruding big toe. 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops, 4 drops, 5 drops, 6 drops, 7. Floating on a slipstream in the troposphere, weightlessly cloud surfing over the purple sparkles and crystalline snow. We are the flotsam and jetsam of the universe, hobos of hyperspace traveling around the stratosphere, skating on the multicolored light beams that race through time and space. I was flying high above the skyline, watching the city of London down below, pulsing and throbbing with traffic, and what looked like two-legged ants wearing anoraks. Moments later, I noticed I'm in New York City, circling the skyscrapers. Over Central Park, down Madison Avenue, into the subway, and along the train tracks. Cut to Brooklyn Bridge Park. There's a man sitting on a bench in the snow eating a corn dog. He tells me his name is Roger, and that he lost his wife this time last year. in a chemical attack on the Empire State Building. He then goes on to tell me he plans to kill himself, after he's finished his lunch, by jumping off the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't try to talk him out of it. Instead, I give him $10 and tell him to go buy himself a stiff drink. I think he's made the right choice. I know it's going to happen tomorrow. And in the blink of an eye, I'm off again, traveling on a light rail transit system in Atlantis in the year 4012 AD, tracing the carbon footprints of my ancestors through great underground caverns, dripping with stalactites. It's one of my favorite places of all time. Past, present, and future merge on the head of a pin. There is a cacophony of crunching bones and wings as the phoenix collides with the surface of the sun, heralding the dawn of a new age. And because I can't stay away, I am back in New York City. It's December 2088, and I'm sitting on the third step of a tenement building reading the paper. There's a story about the traffic being brought to a standstill yesterday when a man leapt from the bridge and plummeted to his death after officers failed to coax him down. 53-year-old Roger Miranda had been formally identified. I fold the paper and take another swig of my Long Island iced tea. I'm waiting for the bomb to drop or an alien spaceship to whisk me away. I don't care which. I like to play Russian roulette. That's some talent you have there. The High Priestess stared at the screen transfixed. So we're calling it a talent now? When I was 6, you told me Mother I had a hyperactive pineal gland. I cleared my mind and let the screen fade back to blue. You were a precocious child. It was hard to believe she had known me that long. On the face of it, we were both the same age. It was rumored that the High Priestess had been one of the original survivors of the cataclysm, and a genetic mutation caused by the chemicals in the blast had permanently stopped her body clock forever at the age of 28. We're done here, right? I picked up a towel from the railing on the side of the vision pod and used it to sponge the perspiration from my face. The weekly invasion of my privacy made me uneasy, but I was raised to believe it was a necessary evil. The policies of the penis had brought the world to its knees, so to speak, and virtually destroyed the planet, and no one wanted it to happen again. Following the great cataclysm of 2088, the few remaining inhabitants of the Earth banded together as one, with the aim to rebuild society with a new matriarchal hierarchy. By the year 3000, the spiritual partnership between the ancients from the 12th planet and the elders of the New World, now called Cocaine, was firmly established. Technologies were combined, and new peacekeeping strategies were introduced. All weapons were prohibited. Gender equality was imposed under the watchful eye of the triple moon goddess. Money was abolished. It became a legal requirement for everyone in Cocaine to regularly drain their brains and upload their subconscious onto the Sacred Council's database at purpose-built dream stations dotted around the island. It was optional whether you uploaded daily, which took about 15 minutes, or uploaded once a week, which took about an hour and a half. I chose to do it weekly, so I could have nights of dreaming that could not be sampled. The masses were led to believe that the main reason for uploading their dreams was to provide holographic program all across the channels made by the people for the people. They really thought they were going to have their dreams shown on the holograph. It was sad. But then most of them couldn't remember their own dreams, let alone control them. By the time I was 7, I had worked out that there was something more going on. The shows were all repeats of boring, banal dreams. And why would anybody need to have their dreams enforced by law? I had tried talking to my mother about my suspicions, but she laughed it off, telling me I had a hyperactive pineal gland. The High Priestess had monitored the population for over 50 years, recording trillions of dreams, nightmares, and precognitive visions, which were then stored away in digital canopic jars in the Akashic Library. Hardly any of them ever made it onto the holograph. I threw the towel onto the pod and walked to the scanner. I aligned my eyes to the markings on the front. A green light came on in the door, and the cubicle opened. She followed me out of the room. You miss her, don't you? She held the Zepto chip between her thumb and index finger and held it in front of my face. She appears in a lot of your recordings. I pushed her hand aside and walked to the drinks dispenser. After tapping the panel, a cup dropped into the drawer, followed by ice, water, and a slice of lemon. She steepled her hands. The world's your oyster, but an oyster is nothing without a pearl. She continued following me with her eyes as I walked to the two-way mirror, drink in hand. I took a sip from the cup and ran my fingers through my hair. I could see her in the mirror behind me, watching me in the reflection. I have a proposition that I think might interest you. She drew closer, putting her hand on my shoulder. I turned to face her. I'm an astral traveler. I can go wherever I want, whenever I want. No laws and no boundaries. What could you possibly propose that would be of interest to me? What if I could get you the girl? The priestess raised her pencil-thin brows high into the creases of her forehead. My heart stopped dead before galloping away at speed. I glared into her frosty emerald eyes, searching for the meaning behind her words. All I asked for is one day. She ran her fingers down the length of the pod in an overtly seductive fashion. She's worth it to you, know? I turned away. Even my best poker face couldn't disguise the way I felt about my 21st century girl. I clenched my fist tight and turned back sharply to lock eyes. I could feel the fire raging in my hardened stare. What do you want from me? Some of the men. The priestess lowered her head, and I followed her gaze down towards the floor. My eyes became distracted by her cleavage, which had been exaggerated by the cut of her embroidered Jacobean dress. Suddenly, this eternally youthful, strong, immortal figure was as fragile as a flower, quivering in the eye of a storm. Cocaine is in jeopardy. I had never seen this side of her before. It unsettled me. I don't know how I can help you, I said. I took hold of my hand. And she took hold of my hand and led me to the uploading station. She sat on the edge of the pod and pulled me down to sit next to her. This generation doesn't remember how it was in the end. Some of the young men are becoming dangerous. I still don't see what this has to do with me. They have been uploading the most disturbing visions. How do you mean? I lowered my usual shell of titanium-like resistance. I could smell fear, and I'm not proud to say it excited me. The priestess removed one of the Zepto chips from her case. She leaned her upper body across me and opened the tray to insert the chip. The sweet fragrance of wildflowers filled my nostrils. A familiar craving quickened my pulse. She was so close I could feel the heat from her skin rising. A forbidden impulse to touch made me twitch. I had to resist. I tried to forget that beneath the heavy embroidered dress there was a real woman. Consciously, there became a need to regulate my breathing. It wouldn't do to have her knowing that somewhere deep inside of me a primal urge was stirring. I had been apart from my own girl for so long that I had almost forgotten that a woman has these needs. It occurred to me then that the priestess had meant to arouse me, to awaken the desire that I had laid to rest so many dreams ago. Without my libido, I had no will, and she had no hope. She would not have been disappointed to know that the cinders in my heart were glowing red hot. The slightest brush of her body against mine sent tingles all through me. I had never thought about the priestess in this way before. The screen on the vision pod whirred and sparked to life. The priestess returned to her formal upright posture next to me. My heart was still beating too fast. Then the footage began to play. The screen bled with brutal, violent images. A montage of war zones, hunting, and rape pornography flickered in front of my eyes. Children ran barefoot, bloodied and tearful. Mothers screamed, bombs exploded. Fires raged and sirens wailed. Tanks plowed a path of destruction through the streets of Cocaine. It was just like the end days all over again. With trembling fingers, I turned and pressed the eject button on the pod. I knew it wasn't my place, but I couldn't bear to watch anymore. Tell me what you need me to do. Water poured over the side of the bath as I struggled to get a slippery grip on the edge of the tub. I coughed and spluttered and gasped for air as the cold soapy water trickled down the back of my throat. Luckily, my cast had caught in the wire of the bath tray, or it would by now be totally submerged. I must have fallen asleep. Stupid painkillers. I was lucky I hadn't drowned. Rain? Nicky pounded on the door. Are you okay in there? Yeah, I coughed. Squashing my lungs. I stretched to grab the towel from my eyes. Good, good. Can you unlock the door? I need to be sick.
Yeah.